All right, Chili, so to follow along with this video, you're going to need to have your reference table out. If you don't have one with you, you can always click on the link in the assignment and it will bring you to an electronic version of the reference table. But we are going to be on page 10 of the reference table. It is called the Inferred Properties of the Earth's Interior. This table's great because you never have to memorize the layers inside of the Earth's under the Earth's surface because they're all listed right for you here on page 10. So first I want to start by talking about what the layers are called, where they're located inside the Earth. So I think earlier in the year I told you guys that the crust, the scientific term for the crust was the lithosphere. So if you look right on here, it says that term lithosphere, and it's talking about the crust, which is like this outermost little black line on the edge here. That's the crust. It's the thinnest layer of the Earth. It's the layer of the Earth that we live on right now. It's made out of two different types of crust called the oceanic and the continental, which we're going to talk more about next week when we start plate tectonics. But I just want you to know that there are two different types of crust. They're both very thin. They make up a very small portion of the entire Earth. Underneath the crust, we go into the mantle. And when you were in 6th grade and you learned about this, you probably just learned that, you had the crust, then you had the mantle, and that was it. But there's a little more that goes into it. The top of the mantle is called the asthenosphere. And it's still considered part of the mantle. It's just the upper portion of it. And it can flow. They call it the plastic mantle. And I don't really like that description, but they kind of want you to picture that the asthenosphere is like melted plastic. So like it can move and it can flow. And it's not quite as rigid as maybe like the crust, which is a solid. I think of it more like Jell-O maybe, like it can jiggle and it can move a little bit. So it's not quite solid and it's not quite liquid. But this is the asthenosphere. It's the upper part of the mantle. Then down here, this is the stiffer mantle because it's what it sounds like. It's a little bit more stiff. It's a little bit more rigid. It's still technically considered a liquid, but it's just, it doesn't move as easily as most liquids that you might think of. Underneath the mantle, we have the outer core, and then underneath the outer core, we have the inner core. So there's really 4 main layers. There's the crust, the mantle, the outer core, and the inner core. First thing I want to point your attention to is on the right-hand side, right over here. This is the density. So this will give you the density of each layer. So for example, the crust, well, there's 2 different types of crust. Like we said, there's continental crust and there's oceanic crust. They're made out of different types of rock and therefore they have different densities. So the density of our crust can range anywhere from 2.7 to 3.0 grams per centimeters cubed. The density of the mantle, again, there's a little bit of a range. It'll go from 3.4 to 5.6. Density of the outer core is 9.9 to 12.2. And the density of the inner core is 12.8 to 13.1. So as we go deeper into the Earth, the layers definitely get more dense. They're under a lot more pressure as we go deeper in. The particles get closer together and they get denser. All right, so those are the first couple things I want you to know about this page. All the layers are listed and their density is listed. Now where things go wild and crazy is on the bottom half of the page right here. We're not going to go into too much depth with this part because, to be honest with you, this is just something that you would have used on the Regents. And as you guys know now, we don't have the Regents anymore this year. So we're not going to go into this part too much, but I still want you to know this section right here is just showing you what happens to pressure as you go deeper into the Earth. And I think a lot of you guys are familiar with the fact that as you go deeper into the Earth, the pressure starts to increase a lot. If you completed the assignment that was due earlier this week called Journey to the Center of the Earth, you would have found out that by the time you make it to the start of the inner core, right about here, the pressure is so intense, it's like having 43,000 elephants balancing on your head. So as we go deeper into the Earth, the pressure absolutely increases. The next graph on the bottom is just showing you similarly that what happens to temperature as you go into the Earth. And it's the same thing. As you go deeper into the Earth, the temperature gets hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. The inner core is about the same temperature, or it's actually even hotter than the surface of the Earth. So when you go inside deeper into the Earth, the pressure increases tremendously and it gets really hot, which is why there's no real living organisms deep inside the earth, because they could not survive the pressure. They could not survive the heat. Plus, there's no sunlight or anything like that or food down there, which is why we all live either outside of the crust or just in the crust a very little bit. The last thing that I want to show you on this table that's important is these dashed lines. So there are these dashed lines that go all the way down to the bottom. The very bottom of this page on the reference table is depth into the earth. So this is showing you how deep into the earth we are going. The dashed lines represent the boundaries between the layers. So this first dashed line right here that's the edge between the crust and the asthenosphere, or the outermost layer of the mantle. So if you wanted to find where the crust ended, you would go all the way down. You'd follow this dashed line all the way down to the bottom of the page, and you would see that the crust was probably, I don't know, if that's 0 and that's 1,000, maybe it looks like maybe 100 kilometers deep into the Earth's surface is where the crust would end and the asthenosphere would begin. If you wanted to know where the asthenosphere ended and the stiffer mantle began, you'd follow the boundary between them until you got to this dashed line. You would bring it all the way down to the bottom, and it would tell you the depth is going to be, again, it's between 0 and 100. I would say it's a little more than half, so maybe like 700 kilometers into the Earth. Then the boundary between the stiffer mantle and the outer core, if we follow that down, it's right about 3,000, maybe a little less. So maybe you'd say 2,900 or something like that. And then the boundary between the outer core and the inner core, we follow it all the way down, and the inner core begins a little after 5,000 kilometers. One last thing I want to show you, and I should have mentioned it earlier, is that it tells you what the crust is made out of. Continental crust is made out of the rock granite. Oceanic crust is made out of the rock basalt. It doesn't tell us anywhere what the mantle is made out of, but then when we go down to the outer core, it says, oh, it's made out of iron and nickel. And when we go to the inner core, again, it is also made out of iron and nickel. So I think that I've pretty much covered everything you need to use on page 10 of your reference table. I'm going to give you an assignment where you're going to have to tell me the density of each layer, how deep the layer begins, how deep the layer is when it ends, and so on, and maybe some things about like what the layer is made out of. If you have any questions, let me know, or stop into one of the Google Meets, and me and Snides or me and Miss Ross can help you out. All right? That's it, chills. Be good.